Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare
Welcome.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat. Good to hear you all.
So just my apologies in advance. Won't be able to read again, but I'm listening. Okay.
No problem, Prabhu. There are enough of us here who can read. So let us just quickly summarize what we did last time. We are now in the 8th chapter of the 7th canto. And Lord Nrsimhadev, if you remember, he killed Hiranyakashipu. And he's sitting there on the throne, very angry, still very angry. And demigods, they all gather in the sky. Siddhas and Charanas, they, Gandharvas, all the heavenly dancers are there. They play drums, kettle drums, demigods show flowers. And then they want somebody to approach Lord Nrsimhadev and pacify him. So they start offering, before approaching him, they start offering prayers. First, the most senior of the demigod, Lord Brahma, he offers prayers, then Lord Shiva, then King Indra, then the Saptarishis, the sages, then Pitris, Siddhas, Vidyadharas, then Nagas, then Manus, Prajapatis. And the last prayer we read was those of Gandharvas. Gandharvas is saying, our singing and dancing is meant to please you, but this demon has made us to dance and sing for him. Now he got a low condition. The activities of such an upstart cannot have any benefit. So this was the last prayer that we read, and we are going to continue with the next prayer. Just let me share my screen. Okay, I'll just turn off the camera. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Namachaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nishta Presha Bhadrishu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Anishtaki Om Gyanati Vranasi Ginanjana Shlaka Chakshu Amritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, yeah, this was the last sloka of Gandharvas that we read, who are the heavenly musicians who sing and dance. And this singing and dancing is meant actually for the pleasure of the Lord in different activities that are held in the heavenly planets. But because Hiranyakashipu was there, they had to stop, like sacrifices stopped, also their singing and dancing had to stop. So now they're very happy that they can perform their heavenly dharma again. So Shloka 51, I'll start. So Charanas now, offering prayers. Again, this sort of Upadevas, lower demigods, together in the category with the Gandharvas and Charanas. So Sri Charana Uchu, Hare Tavangri Pankajam, Bhavapavargam Ashritha, Yadesha Sadhu Hrichayas, Tvayasura Samapitaha. So the inhabitants of Charana planet said, O Lord, because you have destroyed the demon Hiranyakashipu, who was always a stake in the hearts of all honest men, we are now relieved, and we eternally take shelter of your lotus feet, which award the conditioned soul liberation from materialistic contamination. So Hiranyakashipu, he was like a spear in the heart of everybody who is honest. So this is the situation. Demons, they're causing pain in the hearts of all honest people because they're creating so much trouble to the innocent. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of Narahari, Nisimhadev, is always ready to kill the demons who always create disturbances in the minds of honest devotees. To spread the Krishna consciousness movement, devotees have to face many dangers and impediments all over the world, but a faithful servant who preaches with great devotion to the Lord must know that Lord Nrsimhadev is always his protector. Vishnu Thakur, he sleeps even in the bed of the heart of the devotees, not tolerating that you kill him, Samapitaha. From today, you alone should sleep in their hearts. So yeah, previously, fear of Hiranyakashipu was filling the hearts of these demigods. But now, since he was killed, the Lord is one who should always reside in the hearts of his devotees. Devotees are fearless only because of what? Only because of their Krishna consciousness, of their taking full shelter of the Lord. This is one of the symptoms of surrender, of Sharanagati, to have a faith that Lord will always protect us. So this faith is result of full Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada's name was Abhay Charan. And when asked once how it feels to be Krishna conscious, somebody asked him, Prabhupada said, you have no fear. When you are Krishna conscious, you have no fear because you know the Lord is always there. You are conscious, you are aware that He's always present in your heart and everywhere around you. And how can you have a fear if you're always fully Krishna conscious? So this is the solution, to become fully surrender soul, and then we'll have no fear. Just 1 second, I don't know, I don't see any of you. Something happened with my Zoom, so I cannot see the people. I'll stop sharing and then I'll start sharing again. Maybe then something will. Yeah. But again, when I share, somehow the participants are lost. I don't see. I don't can see you. Anyway, so yeah, I think I have at least a list here. So maybe somebody else can read. Chatur Mataji's first here on my
Okay.
participants list. Yes, please.
Text Srimad Bhagavatam 7 Canto 8 Chapter 52 Verse Shri Yaksha Uvacha Vayan Anuchara Mukhya Kama Piste Mano Nis Taiha Iti Sutenam Prapita Va Hukatan Satu Jana Paritapan Kritan Janatate Narahara Upanita Panchatan Pancha Vinsha. Translation. The inhabitants of a Yakshaloka paid, "O controller of the 24 elements, we are considered the best servants of your lordship because of rendering services pleasing to you. That we engage as palanquin carriers by the order of Hiranyakasipu, the son of Diti, O Lord in the form of Nishinhade, you know how this demon gives trouble to everyone, but now you have killed him, and his body is mixing with fine material elements." Purport. The Supreme Lord is the controller of the 10 senses, the 5 material elements, the 5 sense objects, the mind, the intelligence, the false ego, and the soul. Therefore, he is addressed as Pancha Vinsha, the 25th element. The inhabitants of the Yaksha planet are supposed to be the best of all servants, but Hiranyakasipu engaged them as palanquin carriers. The entire universe was in trouble because of Hiranyakashipu. But now that Hiranyakasipu's body was mixing with the 5 material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and sky, everyone felt relieved. Upon Hiranyakashipu's death, the Yakshas were reinstated in their original service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, they felt obliged to the Lord and offered their prayers. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur. We are the chief experts in serving you by pleasing actions. Or we are chief among your devotees. We have been forced to carry his palanquin. He has been killed by you, who know his afflictions to the people. O controller of the 24 elements, Pancha Vinsha.
So yeah, it's interesting here that when the big demon is killed, everybody feels relief, because during the lifetime of a demon, everybody feels oppressed. There was a situation also with the demoniac King Vena, if you remember, who also stopped all the sacrifices, who tried to kill the Brahminical culture, who stopped the yagyas and sacrifices. So when eventually he was cursed by the Brahmanas and died, and then King Prithu appeared, everybody felt much relief. So also in the recent history, we can try to remember of such tyrannical leaders who upon whose death people felt relief. One who comes to my mind, who was the last one in the Second World War, Hitler, who was, causing so much trouble to everybody. When he died, the Second World War finished. I don't know, in the history, probably there are also Aurangzeb in the history of India, that Muslim ruler who was killing the Vaishnavas, destroying the temples, demolishing the temples, and breaking the deities, who was very, very demoniac. I guess when he died, many devotees felt happiness. So it's described that a saintly person doesn't like anybody suffering, but when the snake is killed, the saintly person is satisfied. Why? Because the snake was there, to bite others and to cause harm to others. So it's for everybody's benefit that a snake or a demon is killed. So that's why there is no actually sinful reaction of killing such a snake. Srila Prabhupada, he describes how once he was on a walk with his Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, and some other disciples, how when one disciple spotted a snake and killed it, Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati Thakur, he was satisfied. So he was Srila Prabhupada at the time. He was still a young man. He was thinking, how is that saintly person feels happiness on somebody's death? But because this was a snake, uh, then then it's justified. Then later Prabhupada actually found actually the verse. There is the verse, I cannot remember it now, in the Bhagavata, and that saintly persons feels happiness when envious living entities are killed.
Prabhu, I have one question.
Yes, please.
Yeah, how to understand that this Yaksha said they are the best servants of the Lord?
Let me see, where does it say? Yet we engage in palanquin carriers. You know how this demon get trouble, but now you have killed him. Where does it say they're the best?
Yeah, the first sentence translation.
Oh, here is the actual, all control of 24 elements. We are considered the best servants of your lordship because of rendering services pleasing to you. Well, this is the best. Many, are considered to be the best. Vaishnavayata Shambhu, Lord Shiva is considered the best. And then on other place, Prahlad Maharaj is considered the best. In other place, Narada Muni is considered the best. So in this sense, all devotees of the Lord, pure devotees of the Lord who are engaged in pure devotional service, uh, they're the best. It doesn't mean it can be only one. It can be many. Basically, all pure devotees, they can be called the best servants of the Lord. It's not to exclude anybody else. It just says the best of many servants, because there might be servants who are not pure devotees, who are motivated, materially motivated devotees. So there is a gradation among the servants of the Lord, and but yeah, Brihad Bhagavatamrita discusses this in the second part, who is the best devotee, and then there is who was there, Narada Muni, going and searching for the best devotee, and then he's going from one devotee to another who is pointing to somebody else. I hear you're the best, but no, he comes to what, to Hanuman, for example, and then Hanuman said, no, you go to Prahlad. Prahlad says you go to Pandavas. Pandava says, no, you go to Yadus. They're the best. And Yadu said, no, you go to Vrajvasis. And amongst the Vrajvasis, the gopis are the best. So in certain sense, each and every devotee can deserve this title, the best. But then, if you look further, you'll find even better of the best. And then the topmost of Rajavasis, because they have pure, spontaneous, unalloyed love. There is in Vrindavan. And then amongst the Rajavasis, in different rasas, in Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, those devotees who are in a conjugal rasa or gopis, they are the best. And then amongst the gopis, again, there are different gradations. There is a Radharani's group, and then there is a Chandravali's group. So Radharani group is considered better. And then amongst Radharani Sakis, the Radharani, Srimati Radharani is the best. She is ultimate, the best devotee of all, because she is internal energy of the Lord. So definitely nobody is higher than Radharani. So in true sense of meaning, the best belongs to Srimati Radharani. And then others also can be called the best in certain sense and in certain context, in certain circle, Okay, in this room, I'm the best devotee because nobody else is here. You can say, I'm alone, so I'm the best. Or if there are 2 or 3 devotees, okay, here, one of them is the best. But then if you look further and further away, then somebody else is the best. And the thing is that the devotee, they never think I'm the best. They always think, the real devotees always think somebody else is the best. It's the natural humility of devotee, that he never really thinks that he's the best devotee. Even Srimati Radharani doesn't think she's the best, although she is the best. So it's a natural thinking of a devotee, that he thinks that others are better, that they're better serving the Lord. It's a sign of material consciousness that we think, oh, I'm the best in anything, or especially I'm the best devotee. That is a sign of ego, of false ego, if I think I'm the best in anything. So once we really start thinking, no, others are much better than I am, then we can conclude that we made some progress. Otherwise, as long as we entertain the thoughts that we might be the best in anything, that means we are still under the influence of false ego. Srila Prabhupada was also, when some devotees praise him, oh, Prabhupada, you are the best, you are the highest. Prabhupada, said, actually, I'm the lowest. This is how he felt, how devotee really feels. He feels like this. It's not that he's acting, he just feels like this. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he says, I'm lower than the stool in the wall, although he's, Paramahamsa, the, associate of Lord Chaitanya, and he's Manjula, is a gopi, Kasturi Manjari in Krishna Lila. He feels like this. Humility is the natural symptom of pure love of God. The devotee naturally feels he's the lowest, although he might be the highest. Yeah, something like that, Mataji. So the best, this is not absolute, So Yakshas are the best on a Yaksha Loka, you can say, on their planet. They're the best servants. Among some other demigods, they can be considered the best. But then if you go further and further, you'll find the better, and they're also the best. So like this. Is it okay?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
Can I ask a
Okay.
question as well?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
On a similar note, 2 questions actually, if you don't mind.
Yes,
Firstly,
sure.
Lord Brahma, who obviously is glorifying in the Brahma Samhita essentially everything, we take within that Vaishnava Nam Sambho as the topmost Vaishnava, but we know that the topmost Vaishnavas are, of course, the gopis and Srimati Radhani. So how do we understand? I know what you said. I understand all of what you said in the general context, but in a declaration of the Samhita, which is specifically with Krishna and his devotees, why isn't that differentiation also brought in, or why isn't that additional clarification brought in? Do you have any input onto that?
Well, this is I think I already explained how I understand. It's not absolute statement when you say this devotee is the best. So in Vaishnava Yata Shambhu, amongst the Vaishnavas means general devotees, Lord Shiva is the best. But then if you narrow the circle, then you'll find somebody even better than Lord Shiva, and like this. So it's a statement in a shastra that is not absolute. You cannot just take it and then now claim, okay, I found this thing, because in other places in shastra you will find some other devotees who are also considered the best, and it's also said Haridas Savarya, the Giriraj Govardhan, he is the best of devotees. That statement is also there, and that's spoken by Srimati Radharani.
So playing devil's advocate when we are defending our Gaudiya philosophy, so I'm just
Yes.
I'm trying to expand my repertoire of weaponry when we criticize. When we say the gopis are the best, they say, well, other places Shastra, they say this. How do you know the gopis are the best? How do we deal with that? Where, of course, what we say can also be used against us and saying, well, actually, the gopis might not be the best because others are also declared to be the best. So how do you know who is the best? So how do we deal with that?
Yeah, this depends on which pramana you are going to use and which scripture you're going to accept as the highest pramana. As Gaudiyas, we accept Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhagavatam is clear that Rajavasis, amongst the Rajavasis, gopis are the best. And then in Sri Sampradaya or some other, Vaishnava Sampradaya, they might have some other scriptures, and for them, somebody else might be the best using their scripture as support, but let them consider whomever they want to best. We're not here to compete with them and convince them that our sampradaya is the best. But for us, it's a kind of subjective thing also, But also, objectively speaking, such type of love as love of that is found in Vrindavan is not found in Vaikuntha, and yeah, it's a matter of Shastra that you accept as the highest pramana. If it's Bhagavatam, if the other Vaishnavas also accepting the Bhagavatam as the highest pramanas, then on the basis of Bhagavatam, we can prove that the gopis are the best. If they don't accept the Bhagavatam, then we really don't have a connection, and then it's pointless, to argue with them.
Thank you.
Okay.
The second question, I have a quick one. So we know when the Lord expands and incarnates, his body is always spiritual. He never takes a material body. So what is the position with his eternal associates when they come? Do they take a mixture of both spiritual bodies as well as material bodies? Because here, obviously, it's described, although Hiranyakashipu is a demon, we know he's actually an eternal associate of the Lord. Jay and Vijay's incarnations or expansions, but it's described here that as if he has a material body and his body is effectively burnt back into the elements. So presumably it refers to that, his body being as a material body. Is that the understanding that eternal associates can take either material or spiritual bodies?
Yes, but I think that Hiranyakashipu's body was, although he was eternal associate of the Lord from Vaikuntha, by the will of the Lord, he accepted material body, first of Hiranyakashipu, then of Ravana, then after that of Shishupal, and they all had material bodies, and they had demoniac bhava, asuric bhava. So it's it's the liberated soul. If he wishes, he can accept material body. He can do anything and everything. And of course, liberated soul can also come in a fully spiritual body, like Narada Muni. He's wandering throughout the universe in fully spiritual body that has nothing to do with material elements. And Krishna's associates in Vrindavan, when they come, they also come in a spiritual bodies. We should not think, that Shrimati Radharani or Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they have material bodies. No, their bodies are fully spiritual, and one proof for that is that actually they never aged. They never aged all for 100 years of Krishna's absence. And then they were all taken back to Goloka Vrindavan by the Lord after he killed Bhagavata. They all came in the spiritual bodies and they left in the spiritual bodies. And then we have example of Pandavas, again, Krishna's eternal associates, who also went in the self-same bodies back to spiritual world, to eternal Dwaraka, without the need to change their bodies. Yeah, so basically they can do whatever they want. They can come in spiritual bodies and they can, like in this case, if they want to play part of a demon, they can assume the material body and use it like a costume. Not only material body, but also material bhava, like Hiranyakashipu. He got, material body and material mind and that demoniac mentality in order to play in the pastime of the Lord. Otherwise, as Jai or Vijay, he wouldn't be able to play the role of a demon in that spiritual body. Yeah, this is my understanding. Is that okay, Prabhu? Or
Absolutely. Thank you, Prabhu.
all right, let us then continue. Who is there next? Dhanashri Mataji, would you like to read? Are you there, Dhanashri Mataji?
Yes, I am there. Thank you, Prabhu.
Please.
Okay. Shri Kimpusha Uchu Vayam Kimpusha Stwam Tu Mahapurushat Savara Ayatim Kupurusho Nastu Dikrita Sadubir Yada. Translation. The inhabitants of Kimpurusha Loka said, "We are insignificant living entities, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller. Therefore, how can we offer suitable prayers unto you?" When this demon was condemned by devotees because they were disgusted with him, he was then killed by you. Purport: the cause of the Supreme Lord's appearance upon the earth is stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.7-8 by the Lord himself. Yada yada hi damasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adamasya tadomaram shrijami aham. Bhagavad Gita 4.7. Paritranaya sadunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma panataya sambhavami yuge yuge. Bhagavad Gita 4.8. Whenever and wherever there is a decrease in irreligious principles and a predominant rise in irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreant, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I advance myself millennium after millennium. The Lord appears in order to execute two kinds of activities: to kill the demons and to protect the devotees. When the devotees are too disturbed by the demons, the Lord certainly appears in different incarnations to give the devotees protection. The devotees following in the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj should not be disturbed by the demoniac activities of the non-devotees. Rather, they should stick to their principles as sincere servants of the Lord and rest assured that the demoniac activities directed against them will not be able to stop their devotional service.
These are the residents of Kim Purusha Loka. Kim Purushas, they are interesting creatures. Kim Purusha means literally, if you translate Kim, is it a man that if you see that resident of Kimpurusha Loka, you first think, is it a man or it's something else? Because it's a kind of half man, half monkey, something like Hanuman. It's not really a monkey, it's not really a man, but something in between. So these are the residents of Kimpurushas. When I was a kid, I remember watching some TV series called Planet of the Monkeys, and the monkeys were, like almost like humans. Just had a face of a monkey and a tail. So I guess this is something like Kimpurushas might look like. But they are also devotees of the Lord, as we can see here, and all of the Lord Ramachandra's monkey soldiers who belong to this Kimpurusha race, they were devotees of the Lord. So the body, whether it's human or animal or demigod or demon, it doesn't matter. What it matters is the disposition towards the Lord. And here, the Lord says the main reason for his coming, yada yada, he dharmasya, that he comes whenever there is a discrepancy in the following of the religious principles, and when the devotees are oppressed by the demons, so he comes again and again, because this happens in cycles. Demons become too strong, and the Lord has to come to help the demigods and devotees and to curb the demons. Okay, so this is that.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
it is said in Canto 5 that the king Hanuman is in charge of this King Purusha.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't remember. Well, it's good if you remember. Yeah, Hanuman is the best of the Kim Purushas, so he must be the king of Kim Purusha Loka. Well, this is the good Loka, because such a great devotee as Hanuman is the king. We would like also to have such a devotee king on this planet, and at the moment we have many small demons who are ruling this planet, and nowhere devotee in the sight. Anyway, the Lord doesn't actually need to descend himself to remove all these demons. His material energy, Maya, can do that, and they actually can kill themselves. One demon fighting against the other demons, and they can all kill mutually, and then hopefully devotees stay after that. All right, so let us continue. Who is there? Shanti Rupa Mataji, are you there? Can you please read?
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
No.
Shri Vaitalika Uchu. Shabhashu Shatreshu Tavamalam Yasho Gitva Saparyam Mahatim Rabhamahem Yastam Anaishit Vashamesha Durjano Dvishta Hataste Bhagavan Yathamaya. Translation. The inhabitants of Vaitalika Loka said, Dear Lord, because of chanting your spotless glories in great assemblies and arenas of sacrifice, we were accustomed to great respect from everyone. This demon, however, usurped that position. Now, to our great fortune, you have killed this great demon, exactly as one cures a chronic disease. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he took that respect offered to us and brought it under his control.
So yeah, I don't know actually how these residents of Vaitalika Loka look like. I never found any description of it. Anyway, maybe we can read one more, Shanti Rupa Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Shri Kinnara Uchu Vayamisha Kinnara Ganastavanuga Ditijena Vishtim Amunanu Nakaritaha Bhavata Hare Savrijino Avasadito Narasimha Natha Vibhavaya No Bhava. Translation. The Kinnaras said, O Supreme Controller, we are ever existing servants of your Lordship. But instead of rendering service to you, we were engaged by this demon in his service, constantly and without remuneration. This sinful man has now been killed by you. Therefore, O Lord Nrsimhadev, our Master, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Please continue to be our patron. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Vishtim means service without pay. We are engaged constantly, Anu, without pay. Vrijina means one who gives suffering.
So yeah, the real servant is one who is doing service without payment. The paid servant, he's working actually for his salary. So you cannot say he's serving out of love. The real servant, he will do everything without any payment. Well, nowadays in ISKCON we introduced a lot of paid services because nobody will do anything anymore, and there's so many things to be done. So everywhere we have big list of paid employees, devotees, and stuff. Well, in one sense, also we need to maintain, to take care of these devotees who are doing service. But the service actually should not be done with that motivation, with the motivation of getting the payment, but it should be done out of love. Then it's considered devotional service. Since there was no purpose, maybe you can read one more.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Shri Vishnu Parshada Uju Advaita Dharinara Urupam Adbhutam Te Drishtam Na Sharanada Sarvaloka Sharma Soayam Te Vidikara Isha Viprashaptas Tasedam Nidanam Anugrahaya Vidmaha. Translation. The associates of Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha offered this prayer. O Lord, our supreme giver of shelter, today we have seen your wonderful form as Lord Nrsimhadev, meant for the good fortune of the world. O Lord, we can understand that Hiranyakashipu was the same Jaya who engaged in your service but was cursed by Brahmanas and who thus received the body of a demon. We understand that his having now been killed is your special mercy upon him. Purport. Hiranyakashipu's coming to this earth and acting as the Lord's enemy was prearranged. Jaya and Vijaya were cursed by the Brahmanas, Shanaka, Sanatkumara, Sanandana, and Sanatana, because Jaya and Vijaya checked these four Kumaras. The Lord accepted this cursing of his servants and agreed that they would have to go to the material world and would then return to Vaikuntha after serving the term of the curse. Jaya and Vijaya were very much perturbed, but the Lord advised them to act as enemies, for then they would return after 3 births. Otherwise, ordinarily, they would have to take 7 births. With this authority, Jaya and Vijaya acted as the Lord's enemies. And now that these two were dead, all the Vishnu Dutas understood that the Lord's killing of Hiranyakashipu was special mercy bestowed upon them. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Hiranyakashipu was your servant, Vidhikara, who was cursed by the Kumaras. Thus ends the commentary on the 8th chapter of the 7th canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 7th canto, 8th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Lord Nrsimhadev Slays the King of the Demons.
Thank you. You sound a little bit like He was sick.
Yes, Prabhu, I'm not well.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear.
No, it's okay. I would like to attend the class.
Yeah, I hope you get healthy as soon as
Thank you,
possible.
Prabhu. Thank you.
So here, yeah, it's interesting that even Vishnu Dutas from Vaikuntha, they came down and they offered the prayers. And because they are completely, spiritual entities, they immediately understood that this Hiranyakashipu, he was not ordinary person, that he was, their their Vishnuduta friend from Vaikuntha Loka, who assumed this demoniac bhava. So he had to play the part with him, but it's not that he was acting, that inside he was thinking, oh, I'm actually a devotee and now I'm just acting. No, he completely forgot that he was Lord, Lord's associate in Vaikuntha. He was completely covered by the arrangement of the Lord. In that sort of consciousness, he could act like a real demon. He was completely overcome by asuric bhava. So Krishna also, when he is afraid of Mother Yashoda, it's not that he is acting. Actually, he knows, oh, I'm a supreme Lord. Why should I be afraid of my mother? She's not going to do anything to me, and she cannot do anything to me. No, he is genuinely afraid because the Yoga Maya potency acts like that. That Lord, he forgets that he's supreme Lord, and in this way, he actually can enjoy the rasa. Otherwise, if he would be aware all the time, oh, I'm Supreme Lord, then he wouldn't be able to act so spontaneously and so lovingly with his devotee. He wouldn't be able to be afraid when he steals butter or does some other naughty thing. It wouldn't be that enjoyable if you just act, but inside oh, I'm Supreme Lord. So even Krishna forgets. For the sake of performing his pastimes as his supreme lord. So similar here, Jai and Vijay, they forgot that they were devotees and they completely were immersed in in the bhava of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in order to play their part well as the Lord wanted them. So if we want to be really good actors, then we really need to get into it. There was one actor in the 1940s who played the role of Tarzan, the Lord of the Jungle. There was some, the Rudyard Kipling book of the jungle, and then I don't know whether the movie was according to that book, but there was a Tarzan, the Lord of the Jungle, who was basically like a man who grew up in jungle, and then he was there and having different leelas and pastimes in the jungle. And there was a movie, and that actor Johnny Weissmuller was his name. Somehow I still remember because I watched when I was a kid. He got so much absorbed in that role of playing that Tarzan, hanging from the trees and going in the forest and fighting with animals. He got so much, absorbed in his role that he actually forgot who he was in his real life. He came to basically the state of insanity that they had to put him in the mental institution, and there during the night you would hear the screams of the Tarzan that actor was producing. There was a specific scream call to the animals that he was producing during the night because he really thought that he was that Tarzan that he was playing. So this is the extreme, of course, caused by mental imbalance. But it's just example to show how, in order to be a good actor, how to actually to enjoy the pastime, the drama, you need to forget your previous existence in order to really experience of the bhavas and the feelings of the role you are playing. So similarly, Jai and Vijay, they had to forget that they were residents of Vaikuntha in order to really experience the demoniac bhava. And similarly, Krishna, he has to forget that he's Supreme Lord in order to be able to play son of Yashoda Ma and Nanda Maharaj. And to be afraid of, Jatila and Kutila and all these sort of things, he needs to forget. Okay, so we are coming to the next
Prabhu?
chapter. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, the last verse, that the devotees of in the Vaikuntha, they get the curse and then they come to this material world to act as enemies of the Lord, and then they can return after 3 births. My question is that is this birth continually or just separate? It seems that it's separate birth, yeah?
Separate from what?
Separate, that means separate time, and not
Yeah, three separate birds. First, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. After that, they left their bodies, and then the soul was born again in the body of Ravana. Their souls were born in bodies of Ravana and Kumbhakarna. So you were asking whether it was chronologically immediately after that.
yeah.
Well, the sometimes thousands of years can pass in between two births, and during this time, the soul could be held suspended in some regions of the universe. It doesn't need to be immediately afterwards. That immediately you're born. Sometimes, even in the normal course of affairs. Uh, for example, I leave the body tomorrow. So that means that, does it mean that immediately I enter the womb and after 9 months I'm born? It could be. Generally, it happens like this. But in some cases, somebody has a karma to go to the heavenly planets for short time or long time and spend some time there, and then he's back and then he's born. Or some other cases, somebody is just held in a subtle body, especially those who did some sinful activities. They are held for a long time in subtle bodies without obtaining the gross body immediately. So they have to wait for many births until they get gross body. Or there could be some other arrangement where the soul can be uh, waiting for the next body on the earth. So there could be some, births in between in different locus. So in this case, I don't know exactly. I didn't study chronologically whether, uh, immediately after Hiranyakashipu, this happened in Satya Yuga, and then Lord Ramachandra appeared in Treta Yuga. So whether Hiranyakashipu left exactly at the end of Satya Yuga, and whether immediately his soul immediately entered the Ravana's body or was somewhere in between, there was no indication in the Shastra about that. And I don't think it really matters. But 3 consecutive births, and yeah, for example, in between the death of Ravana, who was in Treta Yuga, and the Krishna's pastimes in Kali Yuga, there's quite some thousands of years in between. So it might not be uh, immediately chronologically one death and then the birth immediately after that, because Krishna basically appeared and Shishupal also appeared at the end of the Dvapara Yuga, and Ravana died, I don't know when exactly, in Treta Yuga. So there could be a period in between, many that years passed, but for the soul, it's nothing. It's whether it's thousands years of or 10,000 of years, where that soul was, it doesn't really make any difference.
Yeah,
So
what about Jaya and Vijaya, the third birth as Kansa?
No, Kamsa, no, they didn't take birth as Kamsa. Kamsa is demon Kalanemi, as I remember. There
Oh.
was another demon killed by Lord Vishnu, called Kalanemi, and he was born as Kamsa. And then these sons of Devaki that were killed by him, they were actually his sons, uh, in his birth as Kalanemi, uh, or something like they were no they were 8 Marutas or something who laughed at Lord Brahma, and that's why they were born as his sons to be killed. Yeah, there is a history there, but Kamsa, yeah, had nothing to do with Jai and Vijay. So Kamsa is not a gatekeeper of Vaikuntha.
So the third birth of Jaya and Vijaya act as who?
So Jai and Vijay first were born as Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. This was their first birth.
Yeah.
After that they were killed by Lord Nrsimhadev. They took birth as brothers Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Rakshasa brothers born on Lanka. And they, and the Ravana was the ruler of Lanka, and Kumbhakarna was his brother, and they all had terrible demoniac Rakshasa forms. So they were not even born in a human bodies. Rakshasa body is much more powerful than the human body. So they were not afraid of any humans. What to speak about Lord Ramachandra, who was born as human. And then after they were killed by Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, they were born in Kshatriya class of that were actually relatives to Lord Krishna. They were relatives to Lord Krishna in the Yadu clan, Yadu dynasty. So very high class Kshatriya family they were born as Shishupal and Dantavakra. Two of them were born, and this was their last birth. After that, when the Lord Krishna killed them, he dispatched them back to Vaikuntha. They didn't need to take birth again. Although it's said that also they came as who was this? The Jagai and Madai, but that was not a part of the curse. They didn't need to do that. They came in order of their desire to participate in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and to see Lord Chaitanya. But it was not a part of the curse. So these three birds are mentioned only as the part of the curse. So if they didn't do it, if they were not born as these three demons, they would need to take 7 births as devotees, but they preferred shorter time. They just preferred 3 births as demons in order to be back to Vaikuntha as soon as possible. They didn't want to be absent long enough. So they preferred 3 shorter demoniac births instead of 7 long devotee births.
Yeah, what about this Hiranyakasipu body, human body or Raksas? Or
Hiranyakashipu's body, no, it was not human, it was not Rakshasa, it was Dhanava body. This is the lower planetary system. Daityas and Dhanavas are there. Again, this is superior race of demons who are by bodily structure superior to humans. So Hiranyakashipu was born in that race, in subterranean locus below the Bhumandala. So again, it was very, it was body stronger than than a human body.
yeah. And then the last birth, Sishupal, that's a human body, yeah?
Yeah, that was the Manusha, that was human body, that they were born as humans. Because Krishna also appeared in a Yadu dynasty, and they appeared in the same same Kshatriya family, connected to Lord Krishna's family.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so let us proceed with the next. Let me just see. I cannot again see who is there. Okay, good. Subhadra Mataji is there. Can you please read, Subhadra Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
Read the chapter summary.
Yes. As related, chapter summary. As related in this chapter, Prahlad Maharaj, following the order of Lord Brahma, pacified the Lord when the Lord was extremely angry after having killed Hiranyakashipu. After Hiranyakashipu was killed, the Lord continued to be very angry, and the demigods headed by Lord Brahma could not pacify him. Even Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the constant companion of Narayan, could not dare come before Lord Nrsimhadev. Then Lord Brahma asked Prahlad Maharaj to go forward and pacify the Lord's anger. Prahlad Maharaj, being confident of the affection of his master, Lord Nrsimhadev, was not afraid of at all. He very gravely appeared before the Lord's lotus feet and offered him respectful obeisances. Lord Nrsimhadev, being very much affectionate toward Prahlad Maharaj, put his hand on Prahlad's head and because of being personally touched by the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj immediately achieved Brahma Gyan, spiritual knowledge. Thus, he offered his prayers to Lord in full spiritual knowledge and full devotional ecstasy. The instructions given by Prahlad Maharaj in the form of his prayers are as follows. Prahlad Maharaj said, I am not proud of being able to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I simply take shelter of the mercy of the Lord. For without devotion, one can't appease him. One can't please the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by dint of high percentage of great opulence, learning, austerity, penance, or mystic power. Indeed, these are never pleasing to the Supreme Lord, for nothing can please him but pure devotional service. Even if a non-devotee is a Brahmin, qualified with the 12 Brahminical symptoms, he can be very dear to the Lord. Whereas if a person born in a family of dog eaters is a devotee, the Lord can accept his prayers. The Lord does not need anyone's prayers. But if a devotee offers his prayers to the Lord, the devotee benefits greatly. Ignorant persons born in low families therefore can sincerely offer heartfelt prayers to the Lord, and the Lord will accept them. As soon as one offers his prayers to the Lord, he is immediately situated on the Brahm platform. Lord Nrsimhadev appeared for the benefit of all human society, not only for personal benefit. The fierce form of Lord Nrsimhadev may appear most awful to a non-devotee, but to the devotee the Lord is always affectionate, as he is in other forms. Conditions life in the material world is actually extremely fearful. Indeed, a devotee is not afraid of anything else. Fear of material existence is due to false ego. Therefore, the ultimate goal of life for every living entity is to attain the position of being servant of the Lord. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila, chapter 13, verse 80, the miserable condition of the living entities in the material world can be remedied only by the mercy of the Lord. Although there are so-called material protectors like Lord Brahma and the other demigods, or even one's own father, they are unable to do anything if one is neglected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one who has fully taken shelter of the Lord's lotus feet can be saved from the onslaught of material nature. Therefore, every living entity should be unattracted by material so-called happiness and should take shelter of the Lord by all means. That is the mission of human life. To be attracted by sense gratification is simply foolish. Whether one is a devotee of the Lord or is a non-devotee does not depend upon one's birth in a high or low family. Even Lord Brahma and the goddess of fortune can't achieve the full favor of the Lord, whereas a devotee can very easily attain such devotional service. The Lord's mercy is bestowed equally upon everyone, regardless of whether one is high or low. Because Prahlad Maharaj was blessed by Narad Muni, Prahlad became a great devotee. The Lord always saves the devotee from impersonalists and voidists. The Lord is present in everyone's heart as the super soul to give the living being protection and all benefits. Thus, the Lord acts sometimes as the killer and sometimes as the protector. One should not accuse the Lord for any discrepancies. It is His plan that we see varieties of life in this material world. All of them are ultimately His mercy. Although the entire cosmic manifestation is non-different, the material world is nonetheless different from the spiritual world. Only by the mercy of the Lord can one understand how the wonderful material nature acts. For example, although Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus seed that had grown from the abdomen of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, he could not understand what to do after his appearance. He was attacked by two demons, Madhu and Kaitava, who took away Vedic knowledge. But the Lord killed them and entrusted to Lord Brahma the Vedic knowledge. Thus the Lord appears in every millennium in the societies of demigods, women and protectors protecting human beings, animals, saints, and aquatics. All such incarnations are meant to protect the devotees and kill the demons. But this killing and protecting does not reflect any sense of partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The conditioned soul is always attracted by the external energy. Therefore, he is subjected to lust and greed, and he suffers under the conditions of material nature. The Lord's causeless mercy towards his devotee is the only means by which to get out of material existence. Anyone engaged in glorifying the Lord's activities is always unafraid of this material world, whereas one who can't glorify the Lord in that way is subjected to all lamentation. Those interested in silently worshiping the Lord in solitary places may be eligible for liberation themselves, but a pure devotee is always aggrieved to see others suffering. Therefore, not caring for his own liberation, he always engages in preaching by glorifying the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj, therefore, had tried to deliver his class friends by preaching and had never remained silent. Although being silent, observing austerity and penances, learning the Vedic literature, undergoing ritualistic ceremonies, living in a solitary place, and performing japa and transcendental meditation are approved means of liberation. They are meant for non-devotees or for cheaters who want to live at the expense of others. A pure devotee, however, being freed from all such deceptive activities, is able to see the Lord face to face. The atomic theory of the composition of the cosmic manifestation is not factual. The Lord is the cause of everything, and therefore he is the cause of this creation. One should therefore always engage in devotional service by offering respectful obeisances to the Lord, offering prayers, working for the Lord, worshiping the Lord in the temple, always remembering the Lord and always hearing about his transcendental activities. Without these 6 kinds of activity, one can't attain the devotional surface. Prahlad Maharaj thus offered his prayers to the Supreme Lord, begging his mercy at every step. Lord Nrsimhadev was specified by Prahlad Maharaj's prayers and wanted to give him benedictions, by which Prahlad could procure all kinds of material facilities. Prahlad Maharaj, however, was not misled by material facilities. Rather, he wanted to remain always a servant of the Lord. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyam Lila, chapter 13, verse 80.
It was a quite long summary. This summary is actually meant to help us to see the chapter of the Bhagavatam as one unit. Otherwise, when we read a lot of shlokas and purports, then we might get lost in the details. But the summary, should give us more focused vision of the particular chapter. Okay, so maybe if you can read just this first shloka.
Yes, Prabhu. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahma Rudra Puraha Saraha Naupaitum Asakam Manyu Samrabham Sudurrasadam. Translation. The great saint Narad Muni continued. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not come forward before the Lord, who at that time was extremely angry. Purport. Sri Narottam Das Thakur has sung in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika Krodha Bhakta Dvesha Jane. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada and Matsarya, lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy, all have their proper use for the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. The devotee of the Lord can't tolerate blasphemy of the Lord or his other devotees. And the Lord also can't tolerate blasphemy of a devotee. Thus, Lord Nrsimhadev was so very angry that the great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune, who is the Lord's constant companion, could not pacify him, even after offering prayers of glorification and praise. No one was able to pacify the Lord in his anger, but because he, the Lord, was willing to exhibit his affection for Prahlad Maharaj, all the demigods and the others present before the Lord pushes Prahlad Maharaj forward to pacify him. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In the 9th chapter, Prahlad, ordered by Brahma, approaches the Lord and offers prayers so that the devatas can approach him. What to speak of others? Even Lakshmi could not calm Nrsimha. Prahlad, however, understood that Nrsimha was the embodiment of affection. Why did the devatas praise the Lord from far off while revealing their individual miseries? The Lord was absorbed in anger.
So here Srila Prabhupada mentions how these enemies, 6 enemies, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, can be used in the service of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. But just to be clear that these transcendental Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, they have nothing really to do with the material counterparts. Although externally they might look like they're not material feelings coming from a false ego of conditioned souls. No, they're byproduct of one's love for Krishna, and they manifest always in relationship to the Lord. So if one gets angry at those who criticize or want to harm the devotees of the Lord, this is transcendental anger, and it has nothing to do with the with the anger under the modes of material nature. But if I get angry because I'm offended, this is not a transcendental anger. It's because my ego is hurt, so I'm getting angry. But no, if somebody offends the Lord Himself or His dear devotee, then I should actually get angry. Not getting angry in this situation would be considered indifference or offense. And similarly, other of the six can also be used in the service of the Lord, like loba. We are supposed to become very greedy. For what? For attaining prema, for attaining pure love of God. Loba moi, filled with the greed to attain the love of residents of Vrindavan is a qualification for Raga Nuga Sadhana Bhakti. Without that loba, without that greed, one cannot perform Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. It's necessary. And that loba is attained only in the association of those who already have it. You need to be, in one sense, infected by that greed for pure devotional service. It needs to be, somehow transferred in your heart through sadhu sangha, through association, and then you will want spontaneously, naturally to perform devotional service, not out of fear, not because you were told that if you don't do this, you'll go to hell, or this will happen, or that will happen. Not even because the scriptural rules say this you have to perform. You have to rise early in the morning. You have to follow Kaddish. You have to do this. You have to do that. No, because you're spontaneously attracted doing it, and you want to attain the pure love of residents of Vrindavan. That's why you're doing it. And then the other one also, moha, illusion, sometimes bewilderment of, you read, we read bewilderment of Radharani with the bumblebee, although Krishna is next to her. She doesn't not notice him. It's all just side effects of prema, of pure love of God. Okay, so Prema Bhakti Chandrika. This was the book that, who said that? Gorkishore Das Babaji. If you want to get pure love of God for 2 paisa, you go and buy this songbook, Prema Bhakti Chandrika, because Narottam Das Thakur realizations are realizations of very high level of devotee. So pure love is expressed in the songs written in Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Okay, continue with them. Yes.
Yeah, I have one question here. We talk about this karma, krodha, lobha. Yeah, my question is that during our daily practice, sometimes I have one feeling, angry feeling for the Lord.
Towards the Lord.
Yeah, towards the Lord.
Yeah, so
Is that material attitude or somewhat? I cannot understand.
Yeah, most likely it is material unless you are at the stage of bhava or prema. Then, Mother Yashoda can sometimes get angry at Krishna for doing certain things. But otherwise, if we are still conditioned, if we are still under the moods of material nature, and we think, oh, why is Krishna doing this to me? Why is this happening to me? That means we don't accept that whatever happens is for our ultimate benefit, and the Lord is our our friend, best friend in all situations. So whether good or bad things happens, it's for our ultimate good, for our spiritual good. So we don't have
Yes,
that fate.
yes, sometimes I find the law is very crooked. And then he sends someone to bewilder me. And then maybe for a longer time. And then he sent another maybe devotee again to text me. So when I put this together, I can feel the Lord use some strategy to check me and to text me. So I feel very angry at him.
Well, we should not doubt the Lord's motivation. He always loves his devotees, and whatever he does is for our benefit, whether it's good or bad. And but we should not always think that all these our daily events, this is the Lord playing with us. It could be, uh, I mean, our karma, then our relationship with other devotees, and then our own anarthas who are causing trouble in a relationship with others, and we are getting purified through this rubbing with the in the association of others. So we should not think that no, Lord is intentionally doing this to us. No, these things happen without direct interference of the Lord. It's just we are still living in material world, and we are still dealing with others who are conditioned. So their conditioned nature, in combination with our conditioned nature, is causing all these disagreements and troubles. So we should not think, oh, now Lord is making this just to make me a fool or to cause me a pain. No, you should not think it's Lord. You can say, okay, it's happening with the permission of the Lord, but it's not that He is directly involved in doing these things. But even if He would be, then we should think, oh, why is this happening? Why is the Lord allowing this to happen? Maybe there is some lesson for me to learn in it. Maybe I should learn how to become more humble or this or that. We should always, in each and every situation, look what is there a lesson for me to learn from that particular situation. And that's for our own good. So even if you think, okay, the Lord arranged this for me, that means He arranged it because I needed to learn something. And if I didn't learn my lesson and I'm just getting angry at the Lord, that means I didn't learn the lesson. I just thinking that the Lord is playing with me, with me, or something like that. So that's why we have to always be convinced He is our best friend, and whatever happens, whether it's him directly or it's something allowed by him to happen, is for my ultimate good. Even if it looks difficult, even if it looks bad, means that I need to learn something, or it's maybe because of my karma. Maybe in my previous life I offended some of these persons who are now causing me trouble, so I should accept it very humbly and uh, not make the same mistake again, not again get in the conflict with others, but accept, okay, this person is telling me this. There must be some reason for this. I don't know what it exactly is, but I'll accept it humbly, and I will not retaliate. I will not react in the same way with the anger. I'll try to act as a devotee, and how devotee, so we should think how devotee will react in this situation, whether he will quarrel and fight, or he will say, Hare Krishna, thank you for whatever you are doing it. Just imagine Haridas Thakur, he was beaten 21 marketplace to death. They wanted to beat him to death. Still, he didn't get angry at them. He didn't curse them. He didn't fight with them. He prayed for them. In Christianity, we have, the Jesus Christ who prayed for those who causing him harm. So similarly, Haridas Thakur was praying for his tormentors. So if somebody says some bad word to us, we should not, think, this is the end of the world, and we should not think that the Lord is offending us. The Lord is definitely not doing this. So like this, we should try to think philosophically a little bit, and not to get angry at the Lord, because it is not favorable for devotional service. Getting angry at Krishna, it's not favorable for our devotional service, because there is no reason for us to get angry at him, because he is our best friend. Yeah, like that. I don't know if you satisfied with this or you have still some doubts, Chatura Mataji.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting angry at Krishna. I mean, there is a Raudra Bhava, which Kamsa, who was it? No, Kamsa had a fear. Who was angry? There was another example. Shishupal, he was very angry at Krishna. So he was always cursing him. And through this constant anger and curse, he was constantly meditating at him. And this was the way how he actually achieved complete absorption in total Krishna at the moment of death, when Krishna killed him with his Sudarshan chakra. But this was the special case of somebody always thinking of Krishna through anger. But are we absorbing thoughts of Krishna? If we absorb, then maybe you can allow some anger. But if you're not absorbed, if you're distracted by so many things, and only occasionally we get angry at Krishna, we can only get bad result at that. Because we are getting angry at innocent person. The Lord is certainly innocent. He's our well-wisher. He's not the one who wants to cause us harm, or who is wishing us bad. No, he wants us all the best. We should always be convinced that he's our best friend, and best friend is always wishing well and always making arrangement for our ultimate benefit. So how can I be angry at such person who is love personified, who always does everything uh, for his friend in order to help him? Only because my perception is not correct. I think he's doing something that is going to harm me, and something is not good for me. It's my perverted perfection, uh, coming from my false ego, that is blaming the Lord. But it's actually not the fact. It's not the reality. It's described. Prabhupada also describes that in the Second World War, the wife of the German soldiers who didn't come back from the war because they were killed in the war. All these wives, they became very angry at God, and they basically became atheists because they thought, why is God doing this to me? Why God took our husbands away? But it was not God, it was karma. Simply they were destined to die due to their own karma, and it was karma of those wives to lose their husbands. There was no direct interference of the Lord there. It's energy of the Lord acting according to laws of karma. So similarly, when we are conditioned, when we are under the influence of the modes of material nature, then we act also under this law of karma. So we have to transcend the modes of material nature to come into the Krishna's realm of things happening. Then we can see, like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, sometimes he would chastise Krishna because the the boys on the street, they were throwing stones at him. So he was thinking, oh, Kana, I will tell Mother Yashoda why you are doing this to me. So he would kind of chastise Krishna. But he was, Paramahamsa, who was always absorbed in a, in a pure love of Krishna. So he could see that everything is under Krishna's control. So that he was thinking Krishna is teasing me. But this was the byproduct of his prema. But for us, the best path and way of thinking is to think the Lord is our best friend and well-wisher. So whatever he does, it's for our benefit. And if something bad happens, We should not think this is because the Lord arranged this bad thing to happen. No, this is because of my karma. Actually, I deserved it. In previous life, I did something to these persons. I caused some harm to somebody, and now I'm getting it back. It's just a automatic law, which is acting. It has nothing to do with the Lord. So we should not blame the Lord for the law of karma that we ourselves caused. The Lord is actually the one who wants to help us to get out of this karma. But in order to do that, we need to raise above the modes of material nature. We need to raise to the transcendental consciousness. Then we will be above the karma. That doesn't mean that the body might not be affected by certain things, but we will not be disturbed by it anymore because we'll be on the transcendental platform. This is how we rise above the karma, by coming to the transcendental Brahma Bhuta level of consciousness, where you're not disturbed to whatever happens to your body. Anyway, this is some thoughts. Is this okay, Chitra Mataji, or still you have some?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay now. Thank you.
Okay for now. Okay. So let's Gunaraj Prabhu did narrate. Can you read a little bit, Gunaraj Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. साक्षात् श्री प्रेषिता देवैर् दृष्ट्वा तं महत् अद्भुतम् अदृष्टा श्रुतपूर्वत्वात् सानोपेयाय संकिता. Translation. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. Purport. The Lord has unlimited forms and bodily features. Advaitam, Achitam, Anadim, Anantarupam. These are all situated in Vaikunta. Yet, Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, being inspired by Leela Sakti, could not appreciate this unprecedented form of the Lord. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya recites the following verses from the Brahmanda Purana. Adhishtastruta purvatvat anyai sadharanai janai Nrsimham Sankiteva Srir Loka Mahayano Yayav Prahrade Chaiva Vatsalya Darshanaya Harerapi Nyatva Manastata Brahma Prahradam Preshayat Tada Ekatraikasya Vatsalyam Viseshad Darshayet Darihi Avarasyapi mohaya kramanaivapi vatsalaha. In other words, for the common man, the form of the Lord as Narasimha Deva is certainly unseen and wonderful. But for a devotee like Prahlad Maharaja, such a fearsome form of the Lord is not at all extraordinary. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can very easily understand how the Lord can appear in any form he likes. Therefore, the devotee is never afraid of such a form. Because of special favor bestowed upon Prahlad Maharaja, he remained silent and unafraid, even though all the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, were afraid of Lord Narasimha Deva. Narayana Paraha Sarvana Kutaschana Bibyati. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.17.28. Not only is a pure devotee of Narayana like Prahlad Maharaja unafraid of any dangerous condition of material life, but also if the Lord appears to mitigate the fear of a devotee, the devotee maintains his status of fearlessness in all circumstances. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura comments, though she had seen Narasimha in a previous kalpa, and though Narasimha is always present in Vaikunta, the impression of not having previously seen or heard about this form was produced by the Leela Sakti in order to make everyone taste Adbhuta Rasa, the mood of astonishment.
Yeah, Adbhuta Rasa, mood of wonder. When you see something for first time, you are so in awe of what happens, that there is some rasa that is produced and you can taste it. So everybody is like first time seeing Lord Nrsimhadev, although they might have seen it in previous kalpa. So this happens in every day of Brahma. Lord Nrsimhadev appears and all the demigods and Lord Brahma, who also there, at least, well, the demigods, some of the demigods might not be there. There might be the other one, the new demigods in the next day of Brahma, but there are rishis and those whose planets were not destroyed during the partial annihilation. They're still there, and they've seen the Lord Nrsimhadev previously, but Lord's Lila Shakti is making them all forget that they ever saw the Lord. So in order to be able to taste the this rasa, Adbhuta rasa, and also the same Lila Shakti acts in the spiritual world and makes residents of Vrindavan forget things in order for them to be able to taste that rasa. For example, it's described that Krishna goes to Mathura, he kills Kamsa, and after some time comes back to Vrindavan. And of course, during his absence, the residents of Vrindavan, they suffer very much. And then when he kills Kamsa and he returns back, they're all very happy. And they all forget that he ever went to Mathura. And then after some time, what happens? Akrura comes again and again takes Krishna to Vrindavan. And again, they're in agony. They forgot that Krishna, some time ago, he also went and he killed Kamsa. And then they're again suffering very much in separation for some time until Krishna kills Kamsa again, or a creation of Yoga Maya in the form of Kamsa, and then he comes back. So like these pastimes happen again and again. And then also there are this Ashtakalya Lila, that the same sort of pastimes that happen with the different varieties every day, but they always look fresh and new as never happened. So this is the nature of the spiritual world. Although the things do repeat, because the nature of prema is such that that everybody forgets that these things happened previously. So every moment looks like it's new and never happening again. And then they can taste the rasa. They can really enjoy the relationship with the Krishna. And they're never bored. It's a nature of the spiritual world that every moment it's unlimited joy, and there is no remembrance that you ever experienced this previously in the past. The prema is always fresh and new. So they forget the events from the past. They forget that Krishna killed this demon or that demon, that Krishna danced on the Kaliya's hosts, and that everybody was on the verge of death. They forget all these things, and again and again Kaliya comes. Sometimes Krishna comes, is described. Sometimes Krishna comes back from Mathura riding on a Kaliya, like on a carrier. And many wonderful things happen, and they happen again and again. But because prema is such that overwhelms everybody, they forget. It's under the influence of prema, they forget in order to be able to enjoy these pastimes again and again. Otherwise, if you would always remember, oh, Krishna already stole butter, Krishna already, he was already tied by Mother Yashoda. No, Mother Yashoda ties him again and again. These eternal pastimes. If Mother Yashoda would remember, oh, I previously tied Krishna, he already did this, then there will be no enjoyment. So it's some sort of amnesia that happens in a spiritual world under the influence of prema and Lord's Lila Shakti, in order to make these pastimes more enjoyable and they're always not identical, the same. There are different variations of the pastimes. It's not that Krishna is just mechanically repeating all the pastimes. Sometimes he goes to Kalia with the Krura, sometimes somebody else takes him, sometimes he comes back on Kalia, sometimes he comes back on chariot. There are unlimited variations of these pastimes. What we hear in the Bhagavata is just one small sample of the eternal pastimes that happen in a spiritual world. So they're always fresh, they're always new.
Prabhu,
Yeah.
it seems that this Lila Shakti influences all the demigods, including Lakshmi Devi. And then, but this same Lila Shakti does not influence Prahlad Maharaj?
Doesn't influence him to what? To forget or what?
To be afraid of the form of the Lord. You see that all the demigods, including Lord Brahma and Shiva and Lakshmi Devi, they are afraid of this form. But Prahlad Maharaj, they are not. He is not afraid of this form.
Yeah, the Lila Shakti is her function is to serve the pastimes of the Lord to happen in a certain way. So how she's influencing Lakshmi Devi? She's influencing her to forget that she ever saw this form previously. And demigods also who seen this form in previous kalpa, they under influence of the Lila Shakti, they forgot that they saw it. And then because now they're thinking of first time they're seeing this form, and that's why they are afraid, because they don't know, they have no experience in their memory of this form. Prahlad Maharaj also doesn't remember this form, but because he's so much absorbed in the Lord, in the thoughts of the Lord, he's naturally not afraid without the help of Lila Shakti. There is no need for him, to be influenced in this case by Lila Shakti. He is not afraid because of his pure Krishna consciousness, of his having taken shelter of the Lord completely. That's why he's not afraid, not because Lila Shakti is not influencing him. The Lila Shakti is influencing Lakshmi Devi and some of the other presents, but and they're afraid. But Prahlad Maharaj, he's completely Krishna conscious. He's absorbed in the Lord, and because of his Krishna consciousness, he's not afraid, not because of anything else. While the others, they're afraid because it's such a rasa that they have, and Lila Shakti wants to act in such a way to make them fearsome. But for Prahlad Maharaj, no, he sees that this Nrsimha Devi is not different from the Lord Vishnu. He's always meditating on. So he sees it just a different manifestation of his own Lord. So why he should be afraid? Others, under the influence of Lila Shakti, at that moment they don't have the same realization. That's why they're afraid. And not all of them are pure devotees. Some are just demigods. Of course, Lakshmi Devi, she's in eternal concert with the Lord, but Lord Vishnu looks a little bit different from Lord Nrsimhadev. So she's not sure whether it's her husband. She knows, it's my husband, but he looks very, very, very strange. So she feels, a little bit intimidated. She doesn't feel, very free to go and approach him because the husband looks very, very different than she's used to. But for Prahlad Maharaj, it's not a problem. For him, he sees it's his Lord, although he manifested this wonderful, fearsome form, it's still his Lord. So it's also the Lila Shakti is acting in such a way to show the greatness of Prahlad Maharaj. Lila Shakti is doing many things at the same time. It's making Lakshmi Devi forget in order that she could enjoy this Adbhuta Rasa, and then it's also arranging to glorify Prahlad Maharaj as the pure devotee, because he's the hero in this particular lila, of course, together with the Lord. So she's acting in order to glorify Prahlad Maharaj.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's see. Oh, it's already 9:45. Maybe we should stop here if anybody has any concluding comments and questions. Otherwise, we will continue next time. The Kartik is ending now. It's the last few days of Bhishma Panchak in Mayapur. Many
Well,
people.
Prabhu, as a message, just sending you my
Yes.
apologies in advance. I won't be able to join for the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, as we're going away to South Africa for my son's wedding. So my apologies.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned to me. Well, yeah, all the best to your son, Prabhu, and safe journey. And we hope to see you when you are back.
Thank you.
We'll
Please, if I can ask all the devotees on call to send blessings to the couple. Thank you.
Please give the blessings to Shailesh Prabhu's son. Hari Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
everyone.
you.
And,
The blessing.
Yeah,
Be
Prabhu.
blessed.
Prabhu, how do you observe this Bhishma Panchaka in these few days in Mayapur?
Oh, Bhishma Panchak. This is one ritual from Garuda Purana that somehow Jayapataka Maharaj popularized, that so many people here are following. It's observed by there are certain levels of following and certain rules. Fasting, eating, there is a level that you eat only panchagavya, which is very difficult. There is then the second level, you eat only fruits and roots, and then you offer certain type of the flowers to the deities and offer lamp and this and that. It's a big procedure. I think it's too late for now for you, because it already started. So it's I don't think it's necessary for everybody to follow. Of course, those who are inspired, they can follow it. But I mean, if you wish, I can post if I find there was a manual for following it. If you feel inspired to follow it next year, if not this year, there is some instruction manual that is extracted from Garuda Purana, last 5 days of Kartik, called Bhishma Panchak.
Oh, so what about the source from who?
It was from Garuda Purana, as understood, that observance of Bhishma Panchak ritual was
Okay.
found in Garuda Purana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, maybe you can.
Yeah, if I can find it. Otherwise, somebody else might have it. Is anybody following here of the present?
I am following.
Are you following? Okay.
I'm following Thai 3.
Oh, okay.
I can post the details of
Sure. Thank you.
But here in China, we don't have. This is the second day we should wash it along with wood apple leaves. But here in China, I cannot find any.
Yeah.
Also, I haven't seen any wood apple in China.
I also don't know where to find this, and I cannot comment much. Shailesh Prabhu said he will post it, and then if you cannot find it, then you do something else. I don't think it needs to be so strict. What can you do if you cannot find it?
Yeah.
Just imagine, do it in your own mind. You can do it mentally, find it mentally.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all very much. Vanchakalpatarvishya kripa sindhu eva cha patitaram pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo
Pavanebhyo
namo.
Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namah.